Hey, good morning. Out here sitting in my Mustang, reminding myself that I should have bought a Ford. A couple of years ago, I bought a Chevy Suburban 2009. Got a pretty good deal on it. Um, Driving it home to Paso Robles from San Jose, about a 2.5 hour drive. Um, the cruise control wouldn't work. Ended up being just the brake light switch, so not a big deal. A little electrical problem. My friend that had talked me into getting a Chevy Suburban had a Suburban, and didn't tell me that he had a little bit of electrical problems, and first day driving it had electrical problems. Ran pretty good for a couple of years, and then this summer coming back from Canada, going through Medford, Oregon, through the hills there, transmission went out. Got stuck in Medford for 3 days while the Chevy dealer put a new transmission in it. Not a big deal, $5,000 on the end of vacation. Reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. Driving home from Medford after getting the transmission fixed, seemed to slip. It's kind of weird. My wife got to a stop sign. We had to take the back way because the freeway was stuck because a semi-truck had jackknifed. Went through Mount Shasta, and she came up to a stoplight, went to accelerate, and engine just revs. Really weird. She hit the shifter, and it went back into gear, and drove home. No problems from there. Still reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. Decided to take it to the dealer here locally when we got home, as my neighbor said, yeah, my Chevy, the transmission went out. Couple weeks later, the differential locked up and broke his axle. That reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. The dealer checked it out and couldn't find any problems, so far so good. 4 months passed. Seemed to have a little problem with the transmission still. Not sure what was going on. Took it back to the dealer. They couldn't find anything going on. November, driving home from Pismo Beach to Paso Robles about 30 minutes after watching a surf competition. Sounds like I run over a tin can. The check engine light comes on. Pulled over, couldn't find anything wrong. Thought maybe that the oil filter had blown off. Decided to have it towed home. And dealer checked it out, couldn't find anything wrong, said maybe a lifter stuck. Sent me home with a couple $100 bill. Reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. This last Saturday, a couple days after Christmas, driving down to Atascadero, about 15 minutes away, to visit some family that had come in from Boston. Sounded like rocks were thrown out of the tires. Not sure what was going on. For a few weeks, it had felt like the rear end was kind of slipping out. Maybe the traction control. I thought maybe that the brakes were having an issue. We had just put new brake pads on. Kind of almost like trailer brakes when you release the brakes in your car, and then the trailer brakes take a second to release after that. Kind of a little jerky motion. Reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. After a couple hours visiting with family, driving home, sounded like more rocks were flying off tires. And it's so weird because I hadn't been on any rocks, and I had brand new tires and brand new brakes. And then the tin can sound comes on again. Ding! Lights come on, check engine light, traction control disengaged, service, StabiliTrak. My wallet suddenly started to spasm, and I watched a $1,000 bill fly out the window. Reminded me that I should have bought a Ford. All of a sudden, I lost power, lost speed on the freeway, turn on my hazard lights, pull over with my bad back and bad neck, crawl around underneath the car. Couldn't find anything wrong. Didn't see any broken axles, didn't see any bolts missing, didn't see the transmission leaking, didn't see a rod sticking out of the oil pan or anything like that. But as I'm sitting underneath the car, struggling to get up with my bad body, reminded myself that I should have bought a Ford. Got back in the car, started the engine, Ding, 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 ding. Sounds like a rod is knocking in the engine. Damn, I should have bought a Ford. Called my son. Couldn't get a hold of him. Called my son-in-law. He said he would give me a ride home. Pulled over, parked it at the shop, backed it in. It's Monday morning at 4:30 a.m. And I'm thinking to myself, I should have bought a Ford as I sit in my Ford Mustang. Hey, at least I have a Ford. It doesn't really fit my family. There's 8 of us, 9 counting the grandbaby, 10 counting the grandbaby that's on the way. And I'm not sure what I'm going to do. My wife has a Toyota Highlander. It's got about 206,000 miles on it. It kind of fits us, a little tight. But even that's not a Ford.